So you did it. You got through the root canal. But, the journey isn't quite over yet. In fact, what happens next is absolutely crucial to make sure that tooth lasts you for years and years to come. So let's break down all the options for getting it back in shape. This is the big one, right? This is the question that probably brought you here. The immediate pain is gone, thank goodness. But now you're left with a tooth that just feels kind of different. You know it needs something more, but what is that something exactly? See, here's the thing. After a root canal, a tooth is basically hollowed out. Its life support system, the nerve, and the blood supply, they're gone. And that makes the tooth incredibly brittle. The best way to think about it is like the difference between a living tree branch and a dead one. One has flex, it can bend. The other one just snaps under pressure. So our job now is to reinforce that tooth so it doesn't fracture. All right, so here's our game plan. To make the best choice, you've got to know the options. We're going to start with the most common solutions, like simple fillings, and then we'll work our way up to more advanced stuff, like crowns, and even a peek at 3D printing. By the time we're done, you'll have a super clear picture of what's possible. So why not just leave it as is? Well, there are two huge reasons: protection and function. That hollowed-out tooth is super fragile now, and it could easily crack when you're chewing something. We've got to reinforce it, and we need to restore its original shape so you can eat, smile, and just not think about it. Let's start with the most straightforward approach. If your tooth still has a good amount of healthy structure left after the root canal, and that's the key part, your dentist might just go for a direct filling. This is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. They place the filling material right into the tooth, all in one visit. Okay, so on the screen, you've got the two classic choices. On the left, you've got composite resin. You probably know it as the white filling. It's awesome for your front teeth, what dentists call your anterior teeth, because it just blends right in. Then on the right, you have amalgam, the good old silver filling. This stuff is a workhorse. It's super strong, perfect for your back molars, your posterior teeth, the ones that do all the heavy lifting when you chew. It's just not going to win any beauty contests. So a filling works great when there's plenty of good tooth left. But what if the damage is way more extensive? When a tooth needs more than just a simple patch, we have to bring in some heavier protection. And that's where the dental crown comes in. This is honestly the best way to think about it. I love this analogy. A crown, or a cap as some people call it, doesn't just fill a hole. Nope, it completely covers what's left of the tooth. This helmet literally encases the fragile tooth, holds it all together, and spreads out the chewing forces evenly. That dramatically, and I mean dramatically, reduces the risk of it breaking. And crowns aren't a one-size-fits-all deal. You've got options. You've got full metal, usually gold, which is the heavyweight champion of strength, but not so pretty. Then there's PFM, or porcelain fused to metal. This is a nice compromise. You get the strength of a metal core on the inside with tooth-colored porcelain on the outside. All ceramic crowns are the supermodels of the group. Absolutely beautiful, perfect for front teeth. And then there's zirconia. This stuff is a powerhouse. It's incredibly strong and it looks great, making it a fantastic choice for those hardworking molars. Okay, but let's push this a little further. What happens when the tooth is so broken down that there isn't even enough left to hold a crown? I mean, how do you put a helmet on something that has no foundation? Well, you have to build one from the inside out. This is where we get into some really clever dental engineering, the post and core system. The best way to think of it is like putting rebar into concrete to give it strength. A tiny little rod, that's the post, is cemented down into the empty root canal space. Then a filling material, that's the core, is built up all around that post. What you're left with is a brand new, super solid foundation that your crown can grab onto securely. Looking at the steps here, you can see exactly how this works. We start with a tooth that's really seen better days. The post goes in to act as an anchor, the core gets built up around it to create some bulk, and finally, that new little stump is shaped and prepped, ready and waiting for its protective crown. It really is an amazing piece of engineering. And just like with crowns, the posts themselves come in different flavors. You got your super strong metal pose for back teeth, but the real star of the show these days, especially for front teeth, is the fiber reinforced post. It's tooth-colored so it won't show through, and it has a flex that's a lot like your natural tooth, which can really help prevent root fractures down the road. So everything we've talked about so far is fantastic, solid, proven technology. But dentistry is evolving at an incredible pace. Let's take a quick look at what the future, and for many dentists, the present, holds. So remember that whole multi-step process for a badly broken tooth. You've got the post that goes in the root, the core to build up the base, and the crown to cover the whole thing. It works great, but it's 3 separate pieces. Well, check this out. Enter the endo crown. This thing is a total game changer. It's a brilliant all-in-one solution. It's a single piece of ceramic that's both the core and the crown, and it extends down into the hollowed-out part of the tooth to anchor itself. It's more conservative because you don't need a separate post, and it's an amazing option for molars. And it just keeps getting cooler. With CAD/CAM technology, dentists can digitally design and mill a perfectly fitting crown for you in a single visit. No more temporary crowns, no more of those gooey impression trays. And just on the horizon, 3D printing is starting to pop up, promising even faster and more customized solutions. It's a wild time. Okay, wow, we've covered a ton of options, from simple fillings to these space-age endocrowns. So how on earth do you choose? Well, the good news is you don't have to figure this out alone. This is a conversation you have with your dentist, and it's all about finding the right balance for your specific tooth. The decision really boils down to balancing these 4 key things. First, how much healthy tooth do you have left to work with? Second, aesthetics. Is this a front tooth that everyone sees when you smile, or a back molar that nobody sees? Third, biting forces. How much of a beating does this tooth take? And of course, there's always the balance between cost and how long you expect the restoration to last. So here's a little homework for you. Before you even go to your appointment, ask yourself this question. Just thinking about it will help you and your dentist have a much more productive conversation about what solution is truly the best one for you. Because ultimately, remember this, a great restoration isn't just a patch. It's not a temporary fix. It's a long-term investment in your health, giving you back a tooth that not only works perfectly, but also looks so natural that you forget it was ever worked on. It's really about that seamless blend of function and art. And that leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought to wrap up. We've become absolutely incredible at rebuilding teeth with all these man-made materials. But what's next? With all the advances in biology and material science, could we be heading for a future where we don't just replace lost tooth structure, but we actually trigger the body to regrow it? Now that is something to chew on.